The chandelier never trembled. It screamed. One crystal shard caught the light wrong, flashed like a warning flare, and then my Aunt Celeste's voice sliced clean through the clink of ice and silver. "We only set the extra plate because the caterer already charged us, Sage. Finish your wine and go." A fork hung in midair. My cousin Rowan smirked into his bourbon. My cousin Delphine filmed the moment on her phone for whatever private story she keeps of other people's funerals. I tasted metal in my mouth, smiled like I'd rehearsed it in the mirror 1,000 times, and walked out before the dessert course. They assumed the door would always open again. They were wrong. I'm Sage. If you've ever been the +1 at your own life, keep reading. Because 3 weeks later they discovered what happens when the spare air stops sparing them. The only place I was ever real was a weathered A-frame on the north shore of Hollowfen Lake. My grandmother called it the last honest house. Every dawn she'd hand me a tin mug of chicory coffee thick as tar, and march me down the warped pier. We'd sit until the mist burned off and the water turned the color of tarnished nickels. She'd tap the rusted tackle box that held the title, my title, and say, "Land doesn't care who loves it. It only remembers who signs the tax check." She died the winter I turned 17. By spring the house had a new nickname, the Family Retreat. My name stayed on the deed the way a bookmark stays in a library book someone else checks out forever. They posted sunrise photos, Rowan pretending to meditate on the dock I rebuilt plank by plank, Delphine doing yoga in the exact spot where I once cried myself to sleep at 14. I was never tagged. My job was to remain available for emergencies, forwarding the Wi-Fi password, paying the winterization bill when their cards declined, driving 4 hours to let the plumber in because Sage isn't doing anything important anyway. I learned to speak in parentheses. Yes, I'll cover the new roof. Sure, use my kayak. Of course I don't mind sleeping on the porch so Aunt Celeste can have the good bedroom. Then came the Tuesday I stopped translating myself for them. I was eating cereal straight from the box when my phone started convulsing. The group chat I'd archived months ago was suddenly on fire. Labor Day at Hollowfen. Fireworks budget. Who's bringing the rose pontoon? Someone posted a grocery list that ended with "Sage can pick up ice on her way up. She always does." I scrolled up. My name appeared exactly twice. Once as a laughing emoji reply, once as the emergency contact on the boat rental form. A push notification slid in from a credit union I'd never walked into. Overdraft alert. $4,837.12 withdrawn for dock expansion. Family account. My signature, forged in 2019 while I was asleep on cough syrup after wisdom teeth surgery, glowed at the bottom like a brand. I closed the box of cereal, opened my laptop, and started a new document titled, Exit Wounds. Line 1. Sell the house before they schedule Christmas. Line 2. Freeze every card that has ever bought their groceries. Line 3. Find the kind of lawyer who eats estates for breakfast. 48 hours later the house was listed at asking with a 48-hour acceptance window. I signed the digital docs wearing yesterday's sweatshirt and eating cold lo mein. The realtor texted a single thumbs-up emoji, and that was that. They found out on a Thursday when the smart lock rejected Celeste's birthday code, and the listing photos went live on Zillow. The chat detonated. Voice notes layered over voice notes, tears, threats, bargaining, scripture. Rowan showed up at my apartment with a bottle of the scotch I used to buy him for Christmas, and the stunned expression of a man who just realized the ATM has a withdrawal limit. "You burned the only place any of us ever felt safe," he said. "No," I answered, handing him the envelope I'd been saving. "You just never noticed it was on fire while I was still inside." Inside the envelope, cease and desist, repayment demand for 15 years of taxes and utilities, and a polite note that trespassers will be billed for search and rescue. He read it in the hallway. When he looked up, the scotch bottle was sweating in his hand like it had a fever. He left without drinking a drop. The sale closed on a rainy Monday to a children's book illustrator who wanted loons outside her studio window. The wire hit my account at 3:14 p.m. I paid off every debt I'd ever carried for them, moved the rest into an account labeled, "For people who know my middle name," and turned my phone off for the first time in 10 years. They still text. Long apologies typed at 2 a.m. Invitations to heal as a family. Offers to buy the house back at double the price. I read them the way you read spam from an ex, curious, briefly entertained, then deleted. Holofen belongs to someone who will never ask me to sleep on the floor. Some mornings I still taste chicory and lake mist, but the ache is different now. It's the ache of a limb that finally remembered it can walk away. If you've ever been the emergency contact for a life that erased you, this is your permission slip. Stop watering dead trees just because your name is carved in the trunk. One day you'll sell the forest, pocket the matches, and discover the smoke smells like freedom. And that, my friend, is a scent no one can take from you twice.